Hello students, now let's begin with the next chapter of our syllabus, that is biomolecules. Okay, this chapter is in the second part of NCERT. Now what is the meaning of biomolecules? Biomolecules are those molecules which are found in living organisms. Okay, bio means life. So those compounds or those molecules which are found in living organisms, they are known as biomolecules. So in this chapter we are going to discuss about some biomolecules. Now what are these biomolecules? The first is carbohydrate. The second is protein. Nucleic acid. Vitamins, fats, hormones, etc. Okay, so these are the biomolecules. Okay, these compounds are found in our body in living organisms, and these compounds are made up of elements. These compounds are made up of simple elements like carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen and sulfur. So in this chapter we are going to discuss about the chemistry of these molecules, okay, about the uses of these molecules and about the structure of these molecules. So out of these biomolecules which are found in living organisms, we'll discuss carbohydrates, proteins, nucleic acids in detail. Okay, so let's begin with the carbohydrates. The word carbohydrate means hydrates of carbon. Okay, now what is the meaning of hydrates of carbon? These are the compounds of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen having general composition as CxH2O whole y. Okay, where x and y can be any number. Now suppose if I put x is equal to 6, so the formula will be C6H2O whole 6 and y is also 6. So the formula will be C6H2O whole 6. Now what this compound is? This compound is C6H12O6. Now this is the famous compound. This can be glucose or this can be fructose. Okay, so carbohydrates have the basic elements as carbon, hydrogen and oxygen, and these have the general composition as CxH2O whole y. Now chemically, these are polyhydroxy aldehydes or ketones. Okay, now polyhydroxy means more than 2 OH groups are there, and aldehyde and ketone functional group is there. So which functional group is found in carbohydrates? Either aldehydes or ketones along with the alcohol group. These are optically active. Okay, carbohydrates are optically active. Sometimes some are optically inactive also, but majority of them are optically active. Now what is the meaning of optically active? Means they have chiral carbon in them. Okay, some of the carbohydrates are sweet in taste, so they are known as sugars. So what are sugars? Sugars are those carbohydrates which are sweet in taste, and they are also known as saccharides. Okay, so this is the basic information about the carbohydrates. So definitely carbohydrates which are found in living organisms, they are basically chemical compounds made up of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. Now let's discuss the classification of carbohydrates. Now the first type of classification is on the basis of number of units they contain, or on the basis of number of units which they provide after hydrolysis. The first is monosaccharides. Monosaccharides are those carbohydrates which contain a single unit. Okay, and they cannot be hydrolyzed further. Hydrolysis means when you dissolve something in water and if it dissociates, then this is known as hydrolysis. So before hydrolysis they contain single unit, and after hydrolysis also the unit remains same. They are known as monosaccharides. Mono means one, saccharide means unit. For example, glucose and fructose. The formula of glucose is C6H12O6. And when you dissolve glucose in water, its formula will remain same, C6H12O6. Now what are oligosaccharides? Which on hydrolysis give 2 to 10 units of monosaccharides. So if it gives 2 units, it is disaccharide, 3 units, trisaccharide, tetrasaccharides like this. And we have some important disaccharides. The first example is sucrose. Sucrose is the normal table sugar that we eat. It is made up of glucose plus fructose. So when you dissolve sucrose in water, it dissociates into glucose and fructose. The next is lactose. Lactose is also known as milk sugar. It is made up of glucose and galactose. And maltose, which is also known as malt sugar, it dissociates into glucose and glucose. Okay, so these are oligosaccharides. Likewise, we have polysaccharides also. Polysaccharides are those which on hydrolysis give large number of monosaccharides. For example, starch and glycogen. Now when you dissolve starch in water, it dissociates into large number of glucose units. Okay, so this is the basic classification of carbohydrates. One more important classification of carbohydrates is regarding the chemical test which they give. Since carbohydrates contain aldehyde and ketone group, and we know there is one distinguished test between aldehydes and ketones, that is Fehling test and Tollens test. So those carbohydrates which can reduce Fehling test and Tollens, which can reduce Tollens reagent and Fehling solution. Now what is the meaning of reduce Tollens reagent and Fehling solution? Tollens reagent and Fehling solutions are oxidizing agents. Okay, and if the aldehyde group is there, then that aldehyde group can be oxidized to the acid by use of these reagents. Okay, so these carbohydrates like monosaccharides and disaccharides like maltose and lactose respond to these tests. Okay, so they can reduce Tollens reagent and Fehling solution. The carbohydrates which cannot do this, they are non-reducing, for example sucrose. So basically these two tests confirm the presence of aldehyde and ketone group in carbohydrates. Now we'll start with monosaccharides. So the very common examples of monosaccharides are glucose and fructose. But the monosaccharides may also contain the number of carbon atoms starting from 3 to 6. So if the number of carbon atom is 3 and the functional group is aldehyde, such monosaccharides are known as aldotriose. And if the functional group is ketone, they are known as ketotriose. So this is the other name for monosaccharides. If the monosaccharide has 4 carbon atom, it can be aldotetrose or ketotetrose. If 5 carbon atoms are there, it can be aldopentose or ketopentose. If 6 carbon atoms are there, it can be aldohexose or ketohexose. Now glucose has 6 carbon atoms and the functional group is aldehyde, so glucose can also be known as aldohexose. And likewise fructose has 6 carbon atoms and ketone group, so fructose can be called as ketohexose. So these are the chemical names for the monosaccharides. Now we have 2 very important monosaccharides in our syllabus. The first one is glucose and the second one is fructose. So now we are going to discuss glucose first, that is preparation methods and structure, and then we'll discuss fructose. Now first of all we'll discuss the preparation of glucose. Now glucose can be prepared either from sucrose. Sucrose is C12H22O11. So sucrose is hydrolyzed in the presence of an acid and it changes to glucose and fructose. Okay. The second method is from starch. The starch is hydrolyzed in the presence of acid at high temperature and pressure and it gives n number of glucose molecules because starch is a polymer. Okay, this is the formula for starch, C6H10O5 whole N. It is a polymer molecule, so it dissociates into n number of glucose molecules. So this is how we can prepare glucose. Otherwise glucose is also present in nature in free as well as in the combined form. Okay, now let's begin with the structure of glucose. The molecular formula of glucose is C6H12O6. It is an aldohexose. Now glucose is given this structure, okay, on the basis of following evidences. This structure is known as open chain structure of glucose. Okay, now how we can make the open chain structure of glucose? The open chain structure can be made like this. Glucose has an aldehyde group. Now there are 6 carbon atoms. On each carbon atom, one OH is there, like this. Okay. So this is the open chain structure of glucose. You can see the terminal aldehyde group is there. Then there are alcohols. Now these are secondary alcohols and this is primary alcohol. Now how glucose is assigned this structure? Okay, what are the reactions which prove the presence of aldehyde group in glucose? What are the reactions which prove the presence of primary and secondary alcoholic groups in glucose? That we have to discuss. The open chain structure of glucose is given on the basis of following evidences. So first is the reaction with HI. Suppose this is glucose, and when this glucose is heated with HI, it forms N-hexane. Okay, because HI is the reducing agent. HI can reduce aldehyde as well as alcohol to corresponding alkane. So if N-hexane is formed, it means that all the 6 carbon atoms are in a straight chain. Okay, so how will you show that glucose has 6 carbon atoms in the straight chain? So when glucose is heated with HI, it changes to N-hexane. The second reaction is with hydroxylamine and HCl. Okay, now these two compounds, they react with carbonyl group. Okay, means aldehyde as well as ketone. So this is my glucose. Now first, glucose is treated with hydroxylamine. Hydroxylamine is NH2OH. So O will be removed from here and H2 will be removed from here. So we'll get, okay, and what product is formed? This product is oxime. Okay, so on treatment with hydroxylamine, since we are getting oxime, it shows the presence of aldehyde group in glucose, or we can say that it shows the presence of carbonyl group in glucose. Okay, indicates carbonyl group. Likewise with HCN also, glucose gives cyanohydrin. So glucose is treated with HCN. This is plus, this is minus. Now these two will be added here. So we'll get, okay, like this. And this compound is known as cyanohydrin. So formation of cyanohydrin shows that glucose has carbonyl group. Now the third reaction. Third reaction is oxidation of glucose. Okay, so this is glucose. On oxidation with bromine water, okay, now bromine water is mild oxidizing agent, so this aldehyde will be converted to acid. The rest will be same. But on oxidation with strong, little bit strong oxidizing agent, that is dilute HNO3, what will happen? The aldehyde will be changed to acid, and likewise the primary alcohols will also change to acid. This compound is known as saccharic acid and this compound is known as gluconic acid. So the formation of saccharic acid and gluconic acid confirm what? That glucose has aldehyde group as well as one primary alcoholic group. So we can say that this reaction indicates 1 degree alcoholic group in glucose. Okay, there is one primary alcoholic group in glucose because it is not possible to oxidize the secondary alcoholic group. Okay, and likewise one more reaction is there, that when glucose is treated with acetic anhydride, now acetic anhydride is this, it will form pentaacetate. Okay, okay, now formation of pentaacetate shows that, now this is pentaacetate, now formation of pentaacetate shows the presence of 5 OH groups in glucose. Okay, because only alcoholic group can react with acetic anhydride. Okay, so these are few reactions which says that glucose has 6 carbon atoms, glucose has one aldehyde group, glucose has one primary alcoholic group, and glucose has remaining secondary alcoholic group. Means in total there are 5 alcoholic groups are present. So on the basis of these reactions, we can draw the structure of glucose like this is aldehyde. Now these are the carbon atoms. This is CH2OH, this is HOH, this is OHH. Okay, now you can write on any side. Okay, so this is the structure for glucose. Now one important thing is there, and that is D and L configuration. Okay, now D and L, there is a system of nomenclature. Okay, now in glucose, if you see the chiral carbon, now this carbon is also chiral, this carbon is also chiral, this is also chiral, and this is also chiral. Now what is chiral carbon? The carbon to which 4 different groups are attached. So glucose has 4 optically active or chiral carbon atoms. Now see the second last chiral carbon. If the second last chiral carbon has OH on the right side, then this is known as D-glucose. Now this capital D has no relation with the small d, that is dextrorotatory. That is a different thing. That D comes because of the rotation of the optical or plane polarized light. Here the D is because to the last chiral carbon, okay, the OH group is on the right side. The naturally occurring glucose has OH on the right side only. So the naturally occurring glucose has which kind of nomenclature? It is known as D-glucose. Likewise, if OH is on the left side, we will call it as L-glucose. Okay, so all the naturally occurring glucose has D configuration only. Okay, so while we are writing the structure for glucose, you can place HOH on any side, but you have to take care of this last chiral carbon. That is, the carbon must contain OH attached to the right side. Now one more important thing, glucose has 4 chiral carbons, so definitely it is optically active. Now if it is optically active, it should rotate the plane of polarized light. It is observed that if the glucose has D configuration, it always rotates the light towards right side. So naturally occurring glucose has this kind of configuration, that it is D plus glucose. Okay, all the plus isomers have D configuration, all the minus isomers have L configuration. Now glucose is D, so we can write as D plus glucose. So what is the meaning of this capital D? This capital D shows the position of OH on the last chiral carbon, that is on the right side. And what this plus shows? This plus shows the plane of rotation of plane polarized light direction, that the plane polarized light is rotated towards right side. Okay, so there should be no confusion regarding this. These two are different things. This indicates the position of OH group and this indicates the optical rotation. In nature, minus glucose is not found. Likewise, L-glucose is also not found. Now let's discuss the next part, that is cyclic structure of glucose. Cyclic means ring-like structure. The open chain structure of glucose, whatever we have discussed till now, that is all the carbon atoms are in the straight chain, is unable to explain the following reactions. Glucose does not give 2,4-DNP test, Schiff's test and sodium bisulfite reaction despite having aldehyde group. Now Schiff's test is the characteristic test for aldehyde. Likewise 2,4-DNP test is also there. Thus glucose does not respond. It means aldehyde group is there, but glucose is giving Fehling test and Tolan test. It means aldehyde group is there, but that aldehyde group is not free. Likewise, the pentaacetate of glucose does not react with hydroxylamine. So it indicates the absence of free CHO group. So we can say that in glucose, the aldehyde group is not free. Okay, that's why it results in the cyclization of the chain and we get a cyclic structure of glucose. Now how to draw the cyclic structure of glucose? Okay, what is the ultimate structure that we have to discuss? Now glucose exists in two forms. There are two crystalline forms of glucose. One form is known as alpha form and the second form is known as beta form. Now what is the meaning of alpha and beta? Suppose we have a hot concentrated solution of glucose. Now hot means the solution should be very hot and concentrated means it is boiled for a period of time. Okay, so the solution of glucose is boiled, so it changes to concentrated solution. Now if the crystallization means now it is cooled, Okay, so when we concentrate any solution and when we cool it, crystals are formed. So when we cool or crystallization is done at 303 Kelvin, which form will get alpha form? Likewise, if the crystallization occurs at 371 Kelvin, we'll get beta form. Okay, so glucose exists in two different forms, alpha and beta, in aqueous solution. Okay, alpha form has melting point of 419 and beta form has melting point of 423 Kelvin. Okay, so from the aqueous solution of glucose, two types of crystals are formed, alpha crystals and beta crystals. Now this is the open chain structure of glucose. It is D plus glucose. You can see there are 6 carbon atoms. Now how to make the cyclic structure for glucose? So what we'll do, the OH which is present on the right side, on the last chiral carbon, that is from the down, it is second last, this OH is shifted to the first carbon. Okay, if the right side OH is shifted to the right side only, so this is C, now H will come here and OH will come here. This OH is shifted to first carbon. Okay, then the remaining structure will be same. This is second carbon, HOH. This is third carbon, OH. This is fourth carbon, HOH. Okay, now fifth carbon is having only H and this is sixth carbon. Okay, and there is oxygen which is linked to first and fifth carbon. Okay, so there is linking of first and fifth carbon by oxygen atom. This type of structure is known as alpha D plus glucose. And likewise, if the OH is shifted to the left side, so this H will come here, OH will be shifted to the left side. Now second is HOH, this is first carbon, this is second carbon. Now third carbon is OH and H. Now fourth carbon is H and OH. Now this is fifth carbon which is having H and this is sixth carbon. Okay, and there is linking of oxygen like this. This structure is known as beta D plus glucose. So in aqueous solution we have two forms, alpha D plus glucose and beta D plus glucose. Okay, both the structures are cyclic. The first and the fifth carbon atoms are linked by an oxygen atom, and there is difference in the configuration of first carbon. The first carbon, if it is having OH on the right side, it is alpha form, and if the carbon is having OH on the left side, it is known as beta form. Okay, and this C1 which is having different configuration is known as anomeric carbon. Okay, so what is anomeric carbon? Which has difference in position of OH. Okay, and the two forms, that is alpha and beta, okay, these are known as anomers. So what are anomers? Alpha and beta forms are known as anomers. So alpha and beta forms are called anomers, okay, which have different configurations at C1. Okay, now the cyclic structure of glucose can be drawn in the other way also, and that structure is known as pyranose structure, because that resembles an organic compound which is known as pyrene. So now we are making the pyranose structure for glucose. Now how to make the pyranose structure? So the pyranose structure of glucose is like this. Now this is my first carbon and this is my fifth carbon, because the oxygen is linked between first and fifth. Now on the first carbon is if OH is down, then it is known as alpha D plus glucopyranose. Now this is first carbon, second carbon can have HOH like this. Now the remaining carbon atoms can have any position of OH. Okay, now this is fourth carbon. Now fifth carbon is having CH2OH and H. So this is my sixth carbon. Likewise, if I want to make the beta structure, then the position of OH should be up. So OH and H, this is first carbon, second carbon is this, third carbon is this, fourth carbon is this, fifth carbon is, now this is CH2OH and H. This is fifth carbon and this is sixth carbon. Okay, so this structure is beta D plus glucopyranose. Okay, so this is how we can make the cyclic structure for glucose. Now the next type of monosaccharide is fructose. Fructose also has the formula C6H12O6. but it is the type of ketohexose. Okay. Now fructose has ketonic group. Now there are 6 carbon atoms. The second carbon is ketone. This is first carbon. Now this is third carbon. This is fourth carbon. Now naturally occurring fructose is also D in nature. So the OH is on the right side. Okay. It is right side. So it is D. Okay. So it is D fructose. But it is found that fructose has minus optical rotation. So it is D minus fructose. Okay. Glucose is always D plus, but fructose is D minus fructose. Okay. Means the OH is present on the right side, but what is the optical rotation? It is levorotatory. Now we also have cyclic structures of fructose in our syllabus. And how to make the cyclic structure of fructose? The cyclic structure of fructose is also made in the same way that this OH will now move to second carbon, because second is my functional group. So if the right side OH shifts to the right side, so this is second carbon, CH2OH, OH, now CHOH, this is HOH, this is CH, CH2OH, now this is the oxygen. It is known as alpha D minus fructose. Okay, so fructose also exists in alpha and beta form. Likewise, if the OH is shifted to the right side, so we can have, left side, so we can have this structure. This is my second carbon, third carbon, fourth carbon, fifth carbon and sixth carbon. So this is my second carbon, third, fourth, now this is fifth carbon, now there is linking of oxygen, and this is sixth carbon, and this structure is known as beta D minus fructose. Okay, so D minus fructose has also existed in two forms, alpha and beta D. Okay, so this is the cyclic structure of fructose. Now what are the uses of carbohydrates? Carbohydrates are used as fuel. Okay, we mainly take carbohydrates in the form of foodstuffs, and whatever carbohydrates we eat, for example wheat, rice, whatever, they provide energy to our body. So carbohydrates, what is the main function of carbohydrates in our body? That they provide energy. Carbohydrates are burnt in our body and they provide energy. Okay, so carbohydrates are basically working as fuels in our body.